Hey guys, this is Petros. I've prepared 5 lessons for you about how to improve your rhythm and your internal groove. It takes some time and discipline, but I assure you that it's very rewarding and it's fun. After quite some years of studying music, of performing and of teaching, I've come to realize that too many of us take rhythm for granted, and that's where the problem begins. I'd like to start with a question. What is groove? Wikipedia says that groove comes from the Dutch word for grave, and it actually means a narrow, long channel. A more musical definition is that it's a sense of a propulsive, rhythmical feel that is created by the musical performance. For me, groove is more like a space. It is a room, if you will, where music dances, it breathes, it's vivid and propulsive, and it drives forward. In order to get access to this musical place, if you will, you need to know the right people. In this case, the people, or more like the entities, are the pulse and the subdivision. Pulse is the musical entity that resembles the heartbeat. It's heavy, it has duration, it's repetitive, always strong and convincing. Even if you don't think of it or if you don't sing it, it's still there. The way I discovered helps me to get acquainted with my inner pulse is to stand up on your feet, feel your weight, and try to recreate this sound. Try to recreate this feel. Feel your weight on your feet that drags you down on the earth. Don't subdivide. Think the pulse as a pendulum or a cyclical motion. Relax and give it some time. Observe your breath, observe your body, and focus to the groove, focus to the pulse. Try to create this continuous, strong, grounded feel. After a while, take a break and continue doing it. It's like meditation, a rhythm meditation, if you will. The other entity is subdivision. Subdivisions are subdividing the pulse in equal parts, at least in the Western music. Subdivision is somewhat contradictory and complementary to the pulse. It's a more trebly sound, a faster, higher frequency, if you will, more staccato than the pulse. It's somewhat ethereal and it moves you upwards. There are obviously many ways to subdivide the pulse, but let's start with 3 and let's use ta kite. Try to continue thinking of the pulse while creating the subdivision. Ta kite, 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 ta kite. Remember that grooves needs the 2 elements to be in harmony and in balance in order to start working and become infectious, if you will. As I said, these exercises are more like a meditation. The more someone gets into it and the more energy and time you are willing to invest in this world, the deeper you're gonna understand the groove and essentially the better musician you'll become. The goal is to get to a point that this process becomes automatic. It kind of becomes a background process and it's there, but you don't need to think of it. I'd like to add that groove is not only meant for rhythm section musicians, but all performers in a band. If you give it some time and energy, I guarantee you that it will pay off. On the next lesson we're gonna go even deeper into the groove, but until then, please practice that and I'll see you soon. I encourage you to use your metronome. I'm using a Pro Metronome application, which is pretty good because you can go down to slower tempi, and that's very good.